Well, I think people might get the bottom of everything and what they was wondering about. Why she ended up in the airplane. A person came forward and said that she was drugged. So why they wait after 20 years to decide they want to come forward? Why didn't they come forward way before then?
Would have to talk about, but I did feel because Hype and R. Kelly had a relationship because he directed a lot of Robert's videos. So the fact that you just said that is very amazing because it was a push to use Hype more than there was a push to use anybody else. So at that time, that was after the debacle with R. Kelly. I was for not having any linkage to Robert Kelly at all through directors or whatever. So that did come up that way, and I lost that battle, and Hype became the director.
Let's talk about this a little more. There's with the release of these streaming songs that you're beautifully putting out there, which we're going to talk about. There's been more talk about some of the terrible things that happened to Aaliyah as she was going up through the business. When you learned, I'll say different. What did you do when you learned that R. Kelly had illegally married your niece Aaliyah?
I went crazy. I really went into myself. I met with the minister and really had to debrief me, and because my reaction was not a good reaction. I had no understanding of it. I had no compassion for it. It was just totally out of the realm of what I would think any young girl should ever have to experience. And I made myself known, obviously, to Robert Kelly and in a conversation, and I've never spoken to him again to this day.
What did you say to him?
Things like, who do you think you are? And we trusted you. I've worked very hard to make your career happen.
You were managing him.
Yes.
You must have felt terribly betrayed.
I was betrayed, and my whole family was betrayed. We gave him not just an opportunity to learn how to perform, but we gave him a lot of love and understanding because he had a tough life. I felt like that kind of betrayal, that you have to do something to somebody. But because of the mentorship of the minister, I totally went another direction and simply just followed along with my sister and just kept it to a very low ebb in our family and to the public so that Aaliyah would not have to experience as much strife and pressure that could come from her family. You know, she wanted to pursue her career. That was important to her. It was not to let anybody persuade her not to do that. And at times, Robert Kelly was very disruptive in trying to make decisions for us with Aaliyah's music. Got a call and somebody said, you got a long distance call. It's from the video shoot. Because I knew that they were shooting a video, obviously. I ran to the phone and I spoke to the director, Pike Williams, and he said, Aaliyah's gone. And I was devastated. I immediately called Minister Farrakhan and asked him, could he call God? Could he talk to God?
Be fine.
And he said, oh, my brother.
Be fine.
It's a lot to process. Even 20 years later.
I can never come to grips with she's so...
Be fine.
If you could go back and change anything,
Be fine.
what would you do differently? How would you protect Aaliyah?
Oh, God. That's a good, ugly question. Because there's so many things, there's so many nights that I've stayed awake wondering if I had made a plan different, or if I had been there to the video shoot myself, if my sister had been there, if this person had been there, or that person had been there, we could have helped to make a better decision on taking that airplane.
So whose idea was it for her to go down to the Caribbean to shoot this?
Pike Williams. Yeah, Hype was the director. Be very honest with you, I did not want to use Hype Williams, but there was a push from
Be fine.
management, which is her mom, to do a video with Hype. I did not really want to work with Hype Williams. I regret that. If I could do it over again, I would not have worked with him. And I don't know where the video would have been shot. Would have been still shot there or someplace else. But it's the first time I've ever said that. But that's what was in my heart when his name came up.
So it was more your sister than R. Kelly pushing for Pike Williams?
I don't know, but that's a very good question. There was some type of rapport my sister had with Robert Kelly that began to creep into our lives. And it just happened to be, hey, why don't we see what we can do?
About a year and a half ago, you had a stroke.
Yeah.
Be
It could
fine.
have been devastating. It was pretty scary. How did that brush with death impact how you now view the passing of Aaliyah?
Well, it kind of made me feel closer to her, to be honest with you, because when I had the stroke, it was so out of the blue and so sudden. For about an hour, I didn't know where I was. I was in some dark place, but I could feel the presence of other people. And I believed the other person was my mom.
Be
And
fine.
she spoke to me and told me to get out of here and go back. And I said, Mom, is that you? I can't see you. And she said, you're not supposed to. You see me when you come back. And then I looked up and I began to gather myself and realize something happened to me, but I didn't know what it was.
Be fine.
So you had a near-death experience. How did that color what you think Aaliyah went through as that plane was crashing a minute after takeoff?
Be fine.
Oh God. Believe it or not, I was thinking about her music. I was thinking about because I worked on it every day, very obsessively. So I felt like she was with my mom.
So does it make you more comfortable that Aaliyah might be there with your mom, or do you feel worse that she had to go through this as well 20 years ago?
No, I'm sure Aaliyah and my mom are in the same place. Yeah. After that experience, it's no question
Be
in my mind.
fine.
Where were you when you found out about the plane crash?
I was on my phone.
Now, this is Aaliyah's uncle talking about his experience
Be
with
fine.
near death. He had a stroke, and he having some regrets about certain things dealing with Aaliyah management and stuff like that.
Be fine.
I did feel because Hype and R. Kelly had a relationship because he directed a lot of Robert's videos. We started working with him and decided to go in another direction, and we worked out a release from Jive Records to Blackground. He was still trying to produce the music, and we said, no, you're not ever working with Aaliyah. You will never be with her in the studio
Be
again.
fine.
And people were questioning me, well, how are you going to repeat the success of the first album without him? Like, there's somebody else that can do this music. You know, I've been in this a long time. There are other writers and producers. And lo and behold, we met Timberland and Missy. I have to say anything after that.
You've had conflict with your sister, Aaliyah's mom, over this process. Much of this is in rumors. Well, one of the rumors, obviously, that's out there, I just want you to put this to bed for if you can, was that R. Kelly actually paid Aaliyah's family to be quiet about what happened. Any truth to that?
I don't think it was it was mentioned. It was, you know, when a person was as successful as he was, you had a label involved.
Be fine.
They had an interest to keep him afloat. They were making a large amount of money on every record we did. So it was natural for me to see executives, you know, hovering around him, making sure he was okay. They didn't know how to relate to Aaliyah, you know. They were trying to see if the guy was okay, if the man involved was okay. And that's why I went to the owner of Jive Records and said, I can't be here anymore. I have to go. Aaliyah has to go. But you have a contract. I said, I don't care what we have. We're going to have to figure out a way to get out of that. And so what I did do was had an attitude of unrelenting, this is the way it has to be. So we got out of there. We went to Atlantic Records, and even Atlantic Records said to me, well, you know, Barry, we think Diane would be okay with Robert working with her again. How are we going to repeat the success you just had? Do it again. Do it again.
Be fine.
I believe in Aaliyah. You don't believe in R. Kelly. I believe in Aaliyah. And we did it again.